Oh my god, stop. I'm so excited. Okay, unscripted. And obviously, haven't done my hair, haven't done my makeup. I'll probably take you guys along for that journey in a little bit. We're gonna take it slow. The point of doing content in this way is also to just like not contribute to brain rot, but I might speed it up just because like I know it's already too late for most of us. Ooh, I'm really excited to eat this. This shit is like good. Ooh. Do I want my coffee while I sit? Yeah. Before I lock into crisscross applesauce. Ooh, my God. Sorry, y'all. That was inappropriate and unbecoming of a lady. American leftists, I don't believe y'all. Like, quite frankly. When I interact with y'all, it is very possible that a lot of it is my own projection of feeling like I should be doing more. But when I interact with y'all, I just don't see people that are doing anything the fuck at all. I see virtue signaling. I see people who don't have a fire behind their eyes, but have a lot of fire in their mouth. And you can just feel that. Like when you're interacting with somebody, you can just feel that. When they're like, yeah, let's like hang people and every person that you kill in a revolution births 100 or more adversaries. Because now you've created a chain effect of people who are connected to that person that you just killed that now want to seek revenge. They're not gonna understand why you did it. This is the question that I always ask American leftists who so blatantly promote violence, who've never taken a life. They've probably never even gone in a fight. I mean a physical fight. And I don't mean a little rat-tat-tat like from high school. I mean, if you didn't win that fight, you might die. You might lose your life. You ain't been in no real fight like that. The American leftists I've met, I haven't met all y'all, obviously. I went to a liberal college. Temple University. I've worked in a lot of 501c3 nonprofit environments. It's never people above the age of 35, maybe a little older, that have these extreme takes. And I love extreme takes, but you gotta have the balls to back it up. What I always ask is, okay, so when the guillotine comes out, and okay, who's first? Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Bezos. I can't remember if Bezos has kids, but Elon definitely has children. Donald Trump has children. And a lot of followers. Millions, if not billions. You think upsetting all those people is going to be a good idea? You think magically they're all going to have faith in your cause? Do you think that represents the desire to build a better world accurately? What do you represent? Meeting violence with violence? So then you kill them, okay. Their family, their friends, all their supporters now hate you and your cause, will never listen to what you have to say, will discredit you at every turn, will actively fight against you more than they did before, because now it's about revenge. which is a highly motivating factor in the human experience. I was thinking about this in Ukraine because I was like, okay, so explain to me, because this looks like some white people on white people violence, and I won't pretend to understand it. It's a lot of years of history there. You feel me? It's hella layered, as is everything. But you know, so I'm like, fill me in, twin. Like, if some Ukrainian people do want to merge with Russia, and some do not, is there a possible conclusion to this war that isn't just we killed the most people? You know, like the natural conclusion of war, like somebody has to forfeit. Slavic people on both sides, so they don't really seem the type of people that are into forfeiting. You feel me? Feeling like a lot, it's feeling like a lot of stubborn people, feeling like a lot of prideful people, which is not a terrible trait to have. Slavic people and Latin people, I'm a Latin people, have a lot of shit in common, okay? I love being stubborn, okay? I encourage myself to be open-minded and fluid and mutable and open to change, but it's not my natural inclination. So I respect it, I understand it, whatever. But I asked, I was like, why? Like, how? Like, what's a possibility? And somebody who's an outsider, who's not Ukrainian, but involved in the war, said, this war could be negotiated. There are negotiations that are possible that would bruise egos on both sides, but would result in the end of the war and no more deaths. But that won't happen. People aren't really open to it. I'm like, why? He's like, it's just gotten to a point where so many people have been killed. At the beginning of this war, you could look across the battlefield and you could look into the eyes of your enemy, and it just didn't feel that serious. Like, it was like, and when he said that, it really resonated with me because I remember that part of the war, having just, you know, been a part of being on social media and seeing it from social media. Because, you know, we get to just see everything now. I was like, that's kind of funny that, like, what I saw was actually accurate to real life. Because I remember when the war first started, videos of, like, you know, like Russian soldiers, like, driving by Ukrainian soldiers and then being like, what's up? And they're like, see you guys on the battlefield tomorrow, fuckers. And they're like, man, fuck y'all. Like, just joking. Like, they sound sarcastic. Like, even though I don't understand their language, like, they just sound like joking. Like, they're just like, all right, I'll just kill you tomorrow, fam. Like, bye, pal. Like, and it was like, they confirmed that for me. They were like, at the beginning of the war, like, we were so close to each other, I could see you from across the field and be like, and it just felt weird. I remember one soldier said something to me so poignant. He was like, you know, I could look at them and think to myself, because he's a musician. He was like, you know, in another time and place, maybe I could teach him the drums and he could teach me guitar, and we could just be in a basement somewhere jamming out together. But we're not there. We're here on opposite sides trying to kill each other. And that just stuck out to me so much. I could teach him drums and he could teach me guitar, and we could just be jamming out together. That really touched me. The point of all this is to say that one person explained to me it's just about revenge at this point. You're on this side, you're like, but those people have killed this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and I love those guys. And I want to avenge them. And them on the other side feel the same way. They're like, you've killed this person, this person, this person, this person. And I had this idea reiterated to me through a Ukrainian woman who told me, I was like, so I ask a lot of questions. I said, if Russia wins, then what? you know. And she said it would be civil war. Like if they took all our flags down and raised Russian flags and started just implementing their government and all this stuff, it would be an endless civil war. I'm like, why? You don't think people would ever just secede and just... She's like, no. How would you feel if they killed your brother, your husband, your uncle, your teacher, your pastor, somebody, a man in your life, and then you just had to salute to them every day? And it made me think a lot about colonization in my own country. Because I'm at the trickle down. Like it was a couple generations ago that Europeans came and slaughtered everybody. Let me chill. I'm trying to move past it and forgive people who aren't even sorry. Because British people, Portuguese people, Spanish people, they're not sorry. The way Americans carry guilt of like, oh my God, we're just like the baddest, worst people on earth. Like, we're the only people that dropped a nuclear bomb and we disrupted what we call the Middle East, but that's not like Arabic countries. Like, why do we call it the Middle East? Like, that's colonial language, and we've just done all this horrible stuff, and we carry so much guilt. But the chain effect of having European people in charge of what is now called the Americas is not really like brought into the conversation. I bring it into the conversation because I'm like, who started all this? It just doesn't feel valuable. Like, I feel it in my soul. It doesn't feel valuable to contribute, to just be like, well, you guys started it because you colonized us, and now our concept of who we are as people on this earth is all just fucked. Because capitalism didn't exist prior to European conquest. That just wasn't how we were doing life over here for thousands of years. Life here was completely different than it was in Europe. Maybe not completely. There's a lot of magical similarities. The pagans and the native people of the Americas had a lot of similar ideas about the connection to our physical reality and honoring our earth. So that's cool. Interesting too. So revenge, I don't think should be taken lightly. Like, oh, I'm gonna just defeat my enemy and then everything will be hunky-dory. Like, we'll just defeat the Republicans. We'll just defeat the evil people. We'll just defeat the rich people. And then everything will be good. Wrong. You would have to get rid of everybody that was involved. And something that stands out to me as well is the history of Cuba. Because how many leftists love and honor Cuban revolutionaries that Cuban people don't honor? Have you met a Cuban person that's like, yes, Castro? I was just talking to a Cuban person about this, actually. I was like, I can't believe in communism because I've never met someone from a communist country that thought that it was awesome. Like, I've never met a Cuban person that like honors Fidel Castro as, you know, a positive guy. And he just said very frankly, and you won't meet one. Che Guevara, whose name I might butcher, who I love a lot of his writing. I love a lot of the things that he said. I think the way he articulated things speaks to me personally. The people who are actually impacted by his work, not just people who read it, like not just people who are outside of it like me, the people who are actually impacted by him, people who live on the island, they remember him as a killer. Because what he did is what you have to do to conquest your enemy. You gotta kill them. You gotta kill everybody that associated with that motherfucker too. Is that something American leftists are really prepared to do? You know, the people that have social anxiety, the socially anxious community. I don't believe y'all, first of all. Second of all, if you are being honest, like, first of all, I don't even think you're being real when you're like, oh, we'll just hang everybody. Like, it's just guillotine time. Two, if you are being real, what I'm just trying to explain right now is that I just don't think it is a good long-term solution. It might just, continue perpetuating the cycle. All right, we'll get rid of the people that we think are bad, and then those people will be gone, and then things will be better. Just kidding. It will perpetuate a cycle because now all the people associated with those people are going to seek revenge, and then we're going to just have to deal with that as it comes, and it's just going to be, just like more violence, more death, more harm, more people that are hurt and or killed. And, who knows? Maybe our great grandkids will have to deal with the consequences of it. They'll be like, your grandma was a leftist and she killed my grandma. And then your kid has to deal with how I feel about British people. Like, man, what the fuck do you mean you're proud of your history? I saw a Confederate flag in Ukraine. And I'm an open-minded person. I have spent time around people that... Oh my God, look at this cute little bird. Oh, I might cut that because then you will see. Never mind. Can't give out the low. What was I saying? British people don't feel bad. Confederacy. I've interacted with people that are proud of the Confederacy, and I've interacted with people that think anybody associated with the Confederacy is racist. Both felt really valid to me. I'm of the belief that we should follow the example of Black people because that is very traditional anarchist ideology, and I think it has a lot of value. The people in your society who are most disenfranchised will have the most accurate knowledge of how do we move forward as a suppressed, oppressed people. So simply put, Black Americans have it the worst here. So we got to lead by their example of what to take seriously and what not to take seriously. And no group of people are a monolith. No, there's no one way all Black Americans think. But all the different ideas is what I try to absorb, and I try to follow Black leadership because that is something that has consistently shown to be an effective strategy in anarchist movements. Follow Black leadership. So, Black folks, from what I've seen, aren't gonna make a fuss about every fucking thing. They don't fuck with the Confederacy. Because the history of slavery in this country, hopefully I don't need to remind y'all, is more fucked up than fucked up. The more you learn, the more your stomach will hurt to think of what people were capable of doing when they were capable of believing that another human was subhuman. When they were able to convince themselves that another human with 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, 2 hands, 2 feet, same body structure as them, just a different skin color, was on the same level as an animal, even lower. They treated black people like they weren't even animals. They treated animals better. I'm not even going to get into it. Because hopefully if you're watching this video, you are exposed to education about how fucking bad slavery was. Not only was it extremely violent, extremely, it also extracted so much labor from just one group of people to the point we built the wealthiest nation on earth. One of the wealthiest nations on earth on the back of just a relatively small group of people. What that should tell us is that if you get a bunch of people together and work towards a combined goal, you can birth a fucking nation. Black people built everything here, and they were not compensated for it. That's the only reason we were able to have such exponential growth. If they had to compensate people for their labor through the entire creation of our country, we'd still be building it. Because if you gotta wait for the money to come back to then give it to the workers, you know, the fucking production gets way slowed down. But if you got a bunch of people working for free, it's the McDonald's system. Cheap food, cheap labor. Charge a little, but not too much. Do that 1,000,000 times over. Infinite profit. But I was talking about the Confederacy. It scared me very deeply to see a Confederate flag in a country that's not my own. Because I was like, what does this mean to y'all? Are you racist? Are you just like... I'll tell you guys in another video how I saw it, but it's too much for right now. But it was in a gym. So I'm like, are you guys just racist as fuck? Like, you're just like getting a pump and you're just like, fuck melanated people. Or, you know, a whole slur. Like, you're just getting a pump and you're just looking at this flag and you're just hype. Just being a fucking Nazi. Sorry, I don't mean to like make this face, but it just really did freak me out. I was like, is that what it is? Or not that it's more excusable, but it would just, I don't know, maybe make a little bit more sense to me. Are you promoting rebellion? Like, do you not really understand what it really means? And you just think, oh, that's just a rebel flag. And it's a good thing to rebel against your government. Or is it pride? What I've realized, what I've seen, and I could be wrong, is the reason a lot of Southerners think so positively about the Confederacy is, like I said, you know, vengeance comes from, I should have said this earlier, a tribal thinking. Feeling like I'm a member of a tribe, and you cross my tribe, you cross me. That's why the Confederacy still has supporters 250 years later. Is it 200? It might be 100. Don't quote me. Yeah, 250 for the birth of America. I want to say like 100 or 150, approximately, roughly, for the Civil War. My grandfather saw Civil War vets marching in his 4th of July parades not too long ago. Not too long ago at all. There's people alive right now who have grandparents that were slaves. Hold up. Reverse. Boop. That was yesterday. So the tribal thinking, the desire for revenge, the desire to, that's my brother, that's my sister, so now me and you have a problem because you have a problem with them. Very, very real. Very, very real. I don't think we can continue like this. I don't think we should think of violence as a means to an end. It's our birthright. I respect violence as a natural human response to injustice. I don't fault anybody for investing time and energy into violence. Just a human. And that's what humans do. But as far as an effective method for changing things for the better, on a large scale, small scales, sure. Riots, protests, hangings, war, assorted violence, state-sanctioned executions. There's some positives to these things. Like, throughout time and history, we've certainly advanced certain necessary agendas through violence. Violence has benefited us. That cannot be denied. I'm talking about global world peace. Something you got to know about me. My ideology that I want to share with the world, that I encourage you to adopt in your own life. The belief that something is possible is the only thing that is necessary for it to be brought into your reality. So the belief that peace on a global level is actually possible, it's the only thing that is necessary to bring it to fruition. I believe in human beings' capability to achieve world peace. Not just because it flippantly would make me happy. It would. But I believe it is the next necessary step in our evolution. We cannot collaborate on a global scale to combat outside forces, whether that be magic, aliens, all types of shit that's on the other side of the veil. We don't understand space. We don't understand the ocean. We don't understand God on a deep, meaningful, large scale, because we are not capable of putting all our noggins together. If the whole human race could collaborate effectively, we would get so much done. We could travel off of this planet after we accomplish what would be a tremendous win of no more useless deaths. That means no more war, no more children soldiers, no more sexual trafficking, no more murder, little murders, big murders, genocides. We could solve world hunger. People would not have to go through pain and suffering. The pain and suffering that human beings go through regularly. Every single human being on this planet has been affected by a war. It affects us on a cellular level and negatively impacts our ability to move forward in the evolutionary process. When your cells are damaged and you take that hit of trauma, now you have to heal. You're not really growing when you're first healing. I do think that it's possible that maybe this is just the way things were supposed to be, unfortunately. Like the way your muscles have to rip to grow. Maybe human beings had to suffer to grow. Maybe all these traumas will accumulate to a more genetically capable vessel for the human spirit. Maybe. But I do feel it's sitting on my heart that I just want to say I feel weird talking about black folks in the Confederacy when I am not black. I hope you guys can understand that I want to talk about everything and never with any level of authority. I don't think that what I say is something that has to be accepted widely. I don't fault anybody for not accepting the things that I say and I believe, because I don't think anything I'm saying is going to be true 100% of the time forever. I just think that it's new, so it'll push us forward a little bit more and more. But I hope I can move the needle here, and then somebody here can tell me that I'm wrong, and they can move the needle here, and then they can move it here. I'm just hoping in the evolutionary process of moving it forward. But somebody is going to improve upon my ideas in the future. I just don't really believe that you should speak on things that aren't in your experience. Like, I can't speak on what it's like to be South American. I don't know. Never been South American. Because I know I don't like it when people speak like they know what it's like to be American. They know what it's like to be a woman. Hate that. Strongly dislike when men are like, oh, la la la, what it's like to be a woman. You don't know. I always used to tell guys at the club, they're like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, oh my God, you used to be a stripper? They're like, no. And I'm like, oh, because you were talking like you had personal experience. The reason I mention the Confederacy is to make the example that groups we think of as hate groups don't disappear just because they've been suppressed. The Confederacy lost the war a long time ago, and still their flag is hung in our country and other countries. People can still identify with that belief system. Why? I'm of the belief that every human being has an equal ability to make choices based on their input, their external reality. Every human being is just absorbing what they see, what they learn, and then making a conclusion based off of that. There's nobody that's better at that than anybody else. I mean, hello, look at the highly intelligent people of today. The most intelligent minds of today who got great marks in academics, went on to Ivy League. What are they doing? Most of them are generating income. And a portion of everything that they spend their money on so flippantly. They buy big houses, expensive cars. Maybe they participate in politics. A portion of everything is taxed. And all of that tax money is going towards the world's biggest genocide right now. They are not creating a net positive with all their intelligence. They might be solving problems for people in the Western world. They might run a really great wellness company. They might have a chiropractic business. Maybe they are, I don't know, run a spiritual community. So they're helping a lot of people here. But for the most part, they're participating in capitalism which is a system of death. It's generating money to kill other people. To what end and for what means? I'm very curious to know. I don't really think we know why genocide is necessary to certain people. They have the goals they tell us. Something about it seems fishy to me. Just being honest. What does the state of Israel hope to accomplish? Like for real. Long term. There's what they say, there's what they tell you, and there's what they don't tell you. So I can't really make predictions. Personally, I don't feel I can. I think categorizing folks into good and bad is just a bad practice overall. It just hasn't worked. I don't like the fact that we are a highly intelligent species and we keep trying shit that hasn't worked. How often has it worked to go, those bad people over there, if we just get rid of them, we'll be good? When does that work? Because you get rid of those bad people over there, that for some reason you can't snuff out an ideology. You can't. I'm telling you. Nazis was, a couple generations ago or decades or whatever. Still Nazis today. Confederacy was a century ago. Still people that promote and support it today. Get it tattooed on their body even though they never ever wore the uniform. I think asking questions is a method that's worked for me. And I feel encouraged to share it with other people from a spiritual standpoint of I feel like God encourages me to tell people, ask more questions. If somebody says something that makes you upset, they tell you that they like something that you don't like, and your first reaction is disgust and the desire to shame that person into changing their behavior, think about how often shame actually works. Has shame forced you to change your behavior? How long did it last? Shame might have encouraged you to change your behavior, but how long did that changed behavior last? And did it change how you really felt deep down inside? Is shame and suppression an effective tactic? It feels good. It feels great to make fun of people that you think of are bad people. It's very, very, very easy to be evil when it's justified. Very easy. Look what we've done. When I say we, I mean you are a member of the human race. I don't care who you are. You are a member of a violent species that has killed each other, eaten each other, raped each other, conquered each other, suppressed each other. We have stolen each other's religions. When European settlers came and colonized the Americas, they learned that they had to attack the medicine man because they learned that that's where people's power came from. Did you know that the Nazis, the KKK, and the Confederacy and other, I don't even know what to call them, racial pride groups, which equivalates to racial hate groups. Because when you have too much pride in yourself, for some reason that always turns into hate towards other people. Pride always comes before the fall. That shit is just real. What was I saying?
I feel like I'm like going down a path, but I forgot where I was going. It's just all cyclical, and I would like to point out that I think these are cycles that can't be broken. The cycle of violence, meeting violence with violence. It's very evil. It's very evil. It's very easy to be evil when you feel it's justified. Would you go and smack a random person on the street? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. If you found out that that person raped your family member, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Pow. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying when you can justify something, you can do a lot. You can do a lot. So when I look at the human race that we're all a part of, I'm assuming you're a member of the human race if you're watching this. And if you're an alien, hit me up. I would love to learn more about y'all. Like, dead serious. I haven't met one yet that I know of. So if you want to be the first, we can go for tea, girl. But if you are a member of the human race, you're a member of a violent society. And if you think that there's a difference between you and somebody that's committed a fucking crime against humanity, I think you're a fucking liar. Is there a difference between people who committed the thing versus people who just thought about it and didn't actually do it? Yes, I'm not slow. I understand that there's a difference between thinking about it and actually doing it. I just want you to know that you're capable of it. That if you were put in the right circumstances where you could justify it, you had the resources and you had the bravery. Because right now you're just too anxious to ask your waiter for more ketchup. But if you weren't scared of your own shadow and you had a hatchet on you and somebody got you to the right emotional space to feel it's justified to slash someone in their head, you would do it. Don't deny that part, that animalistic part of your nature. That's a lie. Don't lie to yourself. When you lie to yourself, you end up lying to others. And that's just not a good look, babe. It's okay. If you can accept these parts of yourself, then you can accept other people. When you can accept other people, you can understand other people. And when you can understand other people, you can collaborate with them better because you can communicate with them better because you won't be coming at them from an angle of shame. You feel shame for your animalistic nature, so you want other people to feel it as well. Oh, that's so terrible that you did that thing. Oh, you war criminal, you. I would never. That's a lie. You haven't, because you haven't been put in that situation. I'm not saying these people were forced. I'm just saying it's just an environmental factor thing. It's just the most reasonable response that person had at that moment in time. The only possibility that made sense to them was to kill that person. I remember I dated a special operations ranger when I was young. And that was a very important experience in my life. Something that I feel like shouldn't have happened, but obviously was meant to happen. He called the people that he had killed legal and illegal kills. Isn't that funny? That when you go to war, there's such a thing as a legal kill. You think their family would call it a legal kill? You think their son, their daughter, their niece, their nephew, their mother, their father would say it was a legal death. Just double checking my lights on because I'm locking in right now, guys. So what do I propose? American leftists, stop lying. You're fooling each other. And now I'm really going to go in on y'all. Okay? I've given my TED Talk to explain my position. Now I'm going to tell y'all what I see when I look at y'all. I see a bunch of guilt-ridden people that are playing who's the most woke with each other because you think somebody else telling you that you're a good person and you did all the right things is an actual measurement of world change. And it's not. Changing the world will result in people hating you. You're changing the natural order of things. The way things have been for a long time. People are not accustomed to change. People don't understand it. It scares people, rightfully so. Change usually results in discomfort. Humans don't like discomfort. So if you're hoping that the reward for being a good person you're seen as a good person, you're rewarded for being a good person, and everyone will just know you're just great. Maybe they'll fucking put a statue up for you. They'll put you down in the history books and everyone will know your face and your name and say, oh, that's so-and-so, the good and the wonderful and great. And just so, they were just such a good person. You have this idea in your head that you're going to be the next Martin Luther King Jr. because you're fighting over semantics with strangers on the internet. And I love a little comment war. Cannot even judge y'all for it. It's so fun. Because it's so impersonal. You know, you get to express your ideology without having the physical feedback loop of another person in front of you receiving what you have to say and arguing with you in real time. It's easier on your nervous system to argue with people over the internet. So that's why it's pussy shit. Because it's not a real fight. There's no real consequences. There's no talk shit, get hit. Because you can talk all the shit you want. That person's probably not going to hunt you down. There's some instances where they will. But for the most part, you can talk shit all you want on the internet and never suffer physical consequences other than just anxiety in your body. That person's probably not going to hunt you down and beat your ass. So you can say whatever you want because you're not going to get your ass beat. But in the real world, talk shit, get hit is just that's just how it goes. So, understand that when you're virtue signaling to each other, you're just in like your own little cave, your own little world of trying to prove to each other who is the most woke. I don't even really believe leftists that call themselves commies, just because I think it's turned into so much of a competition that people think the further left you go, the better you are. So first it was like really cool to post. It was cool to be a Democrat. And then it was cool to be a liberal. And then it was cool to be a leftist. And then it was cool to be a commie. So we've just gone more and more extreme the more we've made it into a competition. I think, I could be wrong, it's people looking for validation. They want proof in the form of other people's approval and praise that they're not the bad guy. And I think it comes back to what I'm saying is we'd all be better off if we stopped going, you're bad, you're good. That's not our job. Like, I really do believe that whatever created us, we'll sort that all out when it's time. I don't really believe in a heaven and a hell. I'll figure that shit out when I get there. Like, when I die, I'll see what's going on then. Okay. When I go to the other side, because I'm a shamanic practitioner and I can move my spirit to the other side of the veil, I just haven't seen heaven. I haven't seen hell. I've seen a giant endless void with a whole lot of layers and a whole lot of different types of spirits. And it's mad complicated. And there's like different places you can go to that are kind of like established. Like the Akashic Records is like a place that you can go to. I mean, maybe hell is like fucking hidden away or something, but like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. If you're a practitioner and you've heard of somebody that went and like peeked over the mountains on the other side of the veil in spirit world, whatever you want to call it, and saw hell in the distance, let me know. Let me know. I've heard of people who have died and come back to life who experienced something kind of like heaven. They felt love, they felt light, they saw brightness. I don't know, but let's not get into heaven and hell right now. That's a big fucking discussion. What I'm talking about is good versus evil. You shame evil, shame violence, shame badness so hard that you leftists, American leftists, with your clean fingernails and your fast little thumbs, you shame it so hard. Your new goal is to be the goodest, best, most perfect person. And that kneecaps all that you're able to do in your work in this lifetime. You will not accomplish very much if you cannot accept gray space in this world. Because, I mean, like, how can you support this group, this organization? How can you support this movement if they're not perfect? Nothing ever is. So you'll end up doing not very much for fear of judgment from others. You're so afraid of other people treating you how you treat others. You are very, very afraid, and fear is not a good motivator. It's very human, it's very natural, and I'm not upset with people for having this natural reaction, but you are very afraid of somebody looking at you and saying, you are bad. You're so afraid of people going, ugh, she supports blah, blah, blah. He believes in blah, blah, blah. They listen to so-and-so. Ew. Ugh, that's weird. You're really weird for that. You're disgusting. Ugh, you're a disgusting, weird, bad person. Ugh, you should be hanged. You should be killed. You should receive physical violence in your life. You should be beaten. You are very afraid of people turning on you and looking at you and saying, bad person. Maybe you've experienced it in this life. Think about it. Have you experienced anybody looking at you and going, whoa, and in their eyes and in their energy, they're telling you you're bad and you need to change. You need to change. You need to change really bad, because if you don't change, I mean, that's just bad. You contribute to badness in the world. You don't want to be bad. Don't be bad.
And we've made some progress with accepting badness in the form of the first one that comes to mind is like the slut movement, like loving bimbos, loving women that are sexually promiscuous, and being like, let's be bad, act bad, let's be bad, like, and I fuck with it. Okay, we should all act up a little bit more. Fuck rules, you feel me? Like, it's meant to keep you safe. Sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. But when you are afraid to do things because you're afraid of other people seeing you as bad, you limit yourself. And the left, the American left, is the most docile group of people I ever did meet. Whole lot of bark, not much bite. When you go to protests, oh God, boy, will you see some performances. Let me watch. Everybody watch me throw this thing. Everybody watch me with my gas mask on. I mean, 25% of the people that are out at protests are photographers and videographers. Everybody just wants a cool shot of them being an activist out on the streets. When protest activism in America has a lot of negatives to it. But that's for a different video. I have participated in a whole lot of violent protests. I've seen a lot of bullshit because I've seen a lot of people not following Black leadership. I'll tell you one example, but I don't want to get into protest culture too bad right now. I mean, first, I have a friend that's in ICE detention right now. Hate that for everybody involved. Ugh, hate it. Really do. Even though I know it's a part of her journey and something she has to experience, I think it's a great learning opportunity for her. And I'm excited to see how it impacts her work as an activist in this lifetime. But obviously, I don't want my friend to be going through this fucking bullshit right now. Like, I just, I don't want to see anybody in pain, much less somebody that I love. But she was like, protests are fucking us up right now because they have to shut everything down and then we don't get to use the phones when there's a protest. So there's that. But for me, what always sticks out in my mind is during the protests for George Floyd in 2020, I was in Philly, and big group of cops, big group of protesters meet in the middle. Black leadership on both sides talked, mostly men, talked it out as leaders of their community. And I saw something that felt like very tribal. It made me feel like an indigenous person back in the day. Two tribes meet and let's just fucking talk like men. And it was not cute. It was not cutesy. It was not none of that. It was very direct. It was very, it's Philly. So first of all, it's going to be a little rough to the outside ear. People who aren't from Philly would be like, whoa. But they're communicating in their natural way. Because the cops aren't from planet Mars. Most of them, I feel like I'm correct in assuming, were Philadelphians. They came together and they talked like men. And they were able to come to a compromise that they felt really good about. It was one day in particular, and they talked about what happened, how they felt, how the cops felt, things they wanted changed.
The citizens, they talked about how they felt, what they want to change on a large level. There were things they agreed on, things they disagreed on. They listened to each other. They looked each other in the eye. That was a very important moment, a very important conversation. I think it was just good all around. And I think that's why disruption is needed, so that we can deal with these things that have been building up inside. So I think moments like those during protests were very valuable. And they came to the agreement that everybody should just go home. Let's just go home. If all the protesters go home tonight, everybody go home. That way we're safe. Let's just keep each other safe, because we know how it's going to get at night. So everybody go home and make it home before curfew. And you have the legal right to protest in the morning. And we'll let you all go home safely, because there was a lot of unsafe passageways in Philadelphia during that time. I don't remember if this was before or after they tear gassed those people on the highway. That was fucking horrible. That was fucking horrible. I was a couple blocks away and I heard everybody screaming. That was fucking horrible. I don't remember if it was before or after that. But basically they said, we want everybody to get home safely. Because people were getting arrested willy-nilly, just trying to get home. But one of the leaders from the police force expressed that he wants people to get home and to get home safely. You know, so they got less people to fucking deal with on the streets at night. It's already crazy before the protests, but the streets at night was a bad, dangerous fucking place to be in Philadelphia, summer of 2020. And these two groups of men retreated peacefully. And I remember I saw a bunch of grown-ass black men walking around and going, everybody go home, everybody go home. They were yelling. They were like, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Everybody go home. Get a good night's sleep. Everybody go home, everybody. And the cops literally retreated, got in their cars, slowly started leaving. But, you know, they were still keeping like an eye out. And who do you know, when all this space was created and peace was won for the night through the power of peaceful communication? That wasn't no bullshit either. It wasn't like, oh, let's agree to disagree. It was some real fucking conversations. In my humble opinion, it wasn't no complacency. It wasn't no people getting pacified. Maybe a little bit. But it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like it was like the cops just pacified people and told them what they wanted to hear and then sent them on their merry way. It felt like real progress and peace had been made. And don't you fucking know, a bunch of loud white people come running into that space that's now been created. Fuck you, you fucking pigs. They start throwing shit at the cops. The cops are kind of looking around like, okay, do we take this seriously? Like, I mean, this is just a couple people. It's not a big, crowd of thousands anymore. But it was just a couple people. And it was just the way that they were expressing themselves. It felt like to me when white people tweak at a concert, just because they just like have the space to do it. It just felt like they just had the opportunity to yell with no restrictions and act with no boundaries and just be fucking loose. Like they just saw this as an opportunity to just be free, to just and I sat there and watched for a while, and I felt like I should leave because black leadership said everybody go home. So I started moving back, but just keeping my eye on these people because I was like, yo, like, what are you doing? They're like, I will not be silent. It's about to be late, bro. What are you going to do? Scream through the whole night? Keep everybody up? Wake up the neighbors and shit? Like, what do we, like, have we not accomplished a really great goal for today? Like, we were heard by the people we're angry with right now. That's pretty rare. Cops did not have to do that. They did not have to listen. They did not have to listen. They could have said, fuck y'all. Pointed their guns at everybody and said, get the fuck home. Go on to bed. But they didn't. They cared. They didn't become a cop because they were like, I hate people. I want to kill them. Maybe some of them, but for the most part. And I remember I went up to one of the people that was tweaking. It's like white dude, you know, alternative presenting in his aesthetic. And I was like, hey man, like, yo, like what's up? Like, I hear you, but like, I don't know, like a lot of the people that were out here think that it's a good time to wrap it up and come back tomorrow. And when I was interacting with him, I just realized he was like a little crazed. And I couldn't tell if maybe he was under the influence of substances of some sort. But he just seemed a little just like, just a little crazed. So I was like, okay, like this is a person that's maybe not all in their right mind right now. So very little I can do. So then I left his ass alone. So I don't want to, you know, critique the whole left protest based on just that one interaction. But it does stand out in my mind as like, what are white people actually? I shouldn't generalize white people. Leftist extremists who praise violence when it suits their agenda. What are their goals? Because when I look at y'all, I see that your goals are get a good social media post. Be seen by your peers, particularly your white leftist peers, as brave and bold and revolutionary and good. You want to be seen as good because the best thing you can be on this planet is good. Which is subjective, mind you. Like, your peers think you're good. Okay, well, guess what? The FBI thinks you're bad. And you're on the list, motherfucker. Join the club. Everybody's bad to somebody. So it's so subjective. I just don't think that in the history of mankind, separating each other into good and bad has ever resulted in long-term systemic change. I think it has, what's the word? Oh man. I saw a comedian use this. Jack Knight in his comedy short on Netflix. Compensation? No. Oh man. When you get, okay, whatever. I'm gonna like put the word here and edit it later. I almost want to do Google right now. When you get a trophy, but it's not because you won, it's just like everybody got a trophy. Consolation? Maybe it is consolation. He said consolation perps, where it's like you're winning something, but you're not winning like the thing you want to win, but you're winning something. Yeah. I think it makes us feel good to say those bad people over there, if we just get rid of them, like we'll be cruising, dude. We'll just be living good. It just hasn't worked yet. I am the descendant of the result of a genocide in many ways. I'm a Latin and Vietnamese by blood. I was raised by white people. So, a lot of layers. To be Latin, especially in America, is to have your culture stripped from you. To be a part of a strange monolith. There's a lot that goes into being a member of the diaspora. It's a unique experience for everybody. We can relate to each other on some fronts. We can't on many others. But we're the descendants of indigenous people from here. And we got to look around and see a bunch of brown people and see a bunch of white people in charge of the brown people and shrug at each other and go, okay, well, this is the way it's been for, going on 300 years now. Ain't had a brown president yet. An indigenous person, a Latin person. Have we? Maybe we've had somebody that was like a little Latin or something in there somewhere. It was Kennedy. I'm kidding. What do you call that when a territory, a group of people, a landmass has been all one group of people for a long time? I mean, the Americas were racially diverse. There was all different types of indigenous people. There was many different nations of people. But they're all brown is what I'm saying. So like everybody looks the same. I'm a little suspicious of any place that's all brown people but white people are in charge. That's the army. That's the Americas. That's Israel. We're like, if everybody brown but the people in charge, something's fishy. Just the way it looks is a little So yeah, feeling like this is reaching its natural conclusion. This is my critique of the American left. I hope it has provided you with something to chew on. I am not Jesus Christ, so you don't have to take anything I say at full face value. I'm 29 years old. I have worked at refugee sites, clean injection sites, homeless prevention, outreach, prisons, foreign wars. I really worked, but I got to like visit and meet with a lot of people in Ukraine. Being a sex worker and lending what I know about shamanism and spiritual healing to many women, not in a professional setting. It's a little something. I've had a varied amount of experiences that helped to create these ideas that I presented to you today. I hope that they can be built upon in the future. I'm not saying any of this to discourage you from wanting to try. Maybe I should have said this in the beginning. A little bit of encouragement, but that's not really how things go. It's just flowing naturally. The fact that you care is a beautiful thing. The fact that you're a leftist and you question society and the way things are is a beautiful, good thing. The fact that you are motivated towards change is a good thing, generally. So I love that. I love that for you. I love that you give a fuck. I think that's awesome. That is how I relate to anybody that opposes me. I'm like, thank you for giving a fuck. Like, if you come at me and you're like, oh, you're racist, you're this, you're that. Like, people come at me a lot because I'm not a traditional American leftist or whatever. And I wouldn't even call myself a leftist, really. There's a lot of leftist policies that I agree with, but I'm not a pure one because I don't believe in communism as a solution to our problems for many reasons. Well, actually, I can summarize that pretty quick. 2 reasons. One, never met anybody from a communist country that thinks it was a good idea. More of a socialist idea seems viable because it's worked for China. So we have, literal proof of it working for a huge industrious nation. Because America is a huge industrious nation. We can't just fuck around and adopt a different system of dealing with our money and our finances and our economy tomorrow, and it's gonna just go smoothly. Okay. I think communism is too far-fetched for America. We're too deep. Okay, we're too far gone. Even if all of the government collapsed tomorrow, there's too many people that believe in conservative ideology that it just wouldn't be fair to them to put them now under a economic system that they can't get behind. That's not fair. That's not fair that a bunch of us think it's a good idea, so we're going to force everybody else into something that they're deeply uncomfortable and afraid of. And yeah, I just haven't met anybody from the USSR or Cuba or, I don't know, I can't think of other communist examples. I mean, you meet a lot of Chinese people that also don't agree with communist China, to be honest. Like, there's also that. I think that is better way of measuring things than to just read theory. Sure, I could read about communism all day long, learn a whole lot about how great it is in theory on paper. But it's a practice that has actually been attempted. Is it true that the CIA has thwarted every attempt at communism? Could that be why it hasn't really worked out that well? Anything's possible. For sure, anything's possible. But where I stand right now is I can't claim myself to be a pure leftist because I just can't get behind communism. Even if it is the world's greatest economic system on paper, in theory, it would just upset too many people and it would just be too disruptive to implement in my country, the United States of America. So scratch that. But I'm very proud of American leftists for giving a fuck and for wanting to be better and for putting in the effort to imagine a better world. I don't know who said it. I feel like it was like her name was like Margaret something. Shout out Margaret, if that's her name. Oh my God, why do I feel like it's like Margaret Theed? Maybe I do remember. I'm gonna put her name here. Who said, never doubt that a small determined group of people, I might be getting it wrong. We're gonna never doubt that a small determined group of people can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. If we can all continue to believe that it's possible and collaborate in this way, like I'm not just telling you how I feel, I'm trying to collaborate with you, girl. I want you to tell me how you feel, and then we figure this thing out together. Because 2 heads are better than 1, and 1,000,000 heads is certainly better than 2. So if we can just all fucking put all our ideas together, because I can't read everything that's ever meant to be done. I can't go every place. I can't talk to every person. But if everybody does their part and we can all collaborate together, we can make miracles happen here on God's green earth. Okay, it's really not that far-fetched. And I'm going to work on my ability to believe in it with my whole entire being as I encourage you guys. You can hear it in my voice that I still feel like it's something I need to convince myself of and something that I need to convince you of, that world peace is possible. And that's a shame. Because if I had 100% complete conviction and certainty, on a quantum level, this would all flow easier. It's just a little hard when you look around. Things are a little hectic right now. And I have my own cellular trauma to heal from. My mother is a Vietnamese war orphan, and things have been passed down to me, okay? So I have my own stuff to heal, so that my physical vessel can hold the great big grand idea of world peace in this body. Doesn't feel safe feeling that quite yet. But we're going to get there. And we're going to get there together. And I'm really excited to be on this journey with everybody. So, thank you for giving a fuck about making the world a better place. But maybe, American leftists, I beg of you, perhaps try to not be so self-righteous about it. Sorry I made that face. I'm not trying to be like... and have that attitude that I hate other people having, strongly dislike other people having in videos where they're just like, hey guys, it's actually not that hard. Hope this helps. Because that attitude is just ugly, first of all. And it's just like rage baity, and it's just like designed to just like upset other people, and it's just stupid. I'm trying not to do that. Trying as hard as I can, succeeding in some places, failing in others. Thanks for caring, and I hope that this opened up your perspective a little bit, and do whatever you'd like with this information. If it is of no consequence to you and you're not going to change, then that's also totally fine with me. Yeah. I care about you, and I care about the world. And I hope that this impacts you in a positive light. And I also hope that you have a good day today, and that you get to eat something yummy, and maybe even have a sweet treat or a savory treat, because you deserve it. Oh, that's right. I should close out with a prayer. Thank you, God. It's in my brain speaking to me. Sorry, I just did an accent to be funny. I grew up around white trailer park boys. I'd be forgetting that that's not an appropriate joke to make anymore. I gotta do better. I'm going to do better. To the creator of all things on heaven and earth, thank you for the opportunity to speak to my collective today. Thank you for helping me to overcome my fear of being seen and being known. Thank you for blessing me with the opportunity to see all that I've seen and do all that I've done, and standing beside me when it was very hard, God. When I wasn't sure how things were going to go, when things upset me, when things hurt me. All the while you were molding me for the opportunity to collect this, to turn it into knowledge, and to share it. And now you've presented me with the opportunity to share what I know, so that I can contribute to the knowledge base and the online canon for world change. Please bless all the people that watch my content. Please bless their hands, their feet, their mind, their eyes, their mouth, their voice, their ears. Help them to see clearly. Help them to hear clearly. Help them to speak clearly, with conviction and love and even praise. Help their hands to do good deeds, and may their feet take them in the right direction. May their spine be good and strong inside their body. May their cellular traumas be healed. May they overcome all of their mountains with bravery, laughter, and smiles, and march forward in the grand journey that is evolution. God, thank you for this platform that brings us all together. Thank you for our enemies, God. Thank you that they challenge us to be the best versions of ourselves. Thank you that they challenge our ideas. Thank you that they force us into the work that is our lives. Thank you for the way that our enemies propel us in evolutionary fashion. Thank you, God, for all that you are, all that you will be, all that you can be. Thank you for creating us and for doing the best that you can. We appreciate you more than we say, and you know that. You know that we should spend so much more time honoring the spirit that made all of this possible. Touch the lives of everybody who hears this in a positive light. Cover them in your love and let them know that while they're scared, they're still protected. And while they're worried, they're still loved. So mote it be.